What is going on? It's your boy JeezPlayingAgain. NA Server is upon us, so I'll be going over the class list and the role they play as well as some builds. This video is dedicated to newer players, but some veterans might find it useful. There are subtle changes for Ragnarok Origin that you might not know about. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more content like this. Alright, let's get started. The first thing you must know about Ragnarok Origin is that they will be only releasing up to 2-1 classes for the initial start. So the first half of this video, I'll be going over the 2-1 jobs and the rest of the jobs in the second half. Alright, with that out of the way, let's start with the first job, Swordsman. Swordsmen are your typical melee bruiser type class that can also lead the party as a tank. You'll be able to change class into a knight at job level 40 and then into a lord knight. Lord knights are very versatile when it comes to their builds, as they can use a variety of weapons to adapt to any situation they may face. Some of the popular builds that player use is a Sword Quicken, Spiral Pierce, and the Red Sword build. Lord Knights are one of the more beginner-friendly classes that can help new players get adjusted to the game and learn the core mechanics. They also have the option of tanking as well, and because Crusader class won't be released in the initial start, Lord Knights will take on the primary role of tank in this game. So if you prefer melee heavy in-your-face type bruiser class with the option of tanking, then Lord Knight might be the job for you. Next we have the Acolyte class. The Acolyte is your typical standard healer with some surprising DPS damage. Acolyte will be able to change jobs into a priest at job level 40 and then into a high priest. High priest's primary role is to support your teammates through different buffs and to heal them. But what you don't know is that High Priest has some incredible damage potential. If you play the original Ragnarok franchise games, then you should be aware that High Priest Magnus Exorcism can only hit undead and demon type monsters. But in Ragnarok Origin, that was changed so that it can hit every single attribute. You also have the option of going Battle Priest and put out insane DPS with the Golden Mace or high crit damage with Spike. There's also Judex build and Turn Undead build. The sheer amount of different builds you can go as a High Priest really shows this type of class to be versatile. But while it may be a very appealing class, the general player base that parties up with priests are only looking for support priests. So if you don't like supporting or being in charge of keeping your party alive, then this class might not be right for you. But on the other hand, if you do enjoy keeping everyone alive and not taking credit for winning a fight, then this is the perfect job. Next we got the Mage class. Mage are your standard Harry Potter magical beast type class. Mages will become wizards at job level 40 and then into high wizards. High Wizard uses different elemental magic to deal heavy damage on either single target enemies or multiple enemies through their AoE skills. They are considered a glass cannon that can effectively wipe out multiple targets at once with their powerful spells, but the downside is that they are very fragile. They do have skills like Safety Wall, which allows them to be protected from melee classes, but you must have the equipment to quickly annihilate your target before you end up dying. But they are a very fun class that also has the potential to out DPS certain classes with their use of Magic Crush skill. If you love nuking your enemies with magic or you love the Harry Potter series, then you might really enjoy playing the Wizard class. This class is also fun for beginners who are being introduced to your typical magic classes in MMO games. Next we have the Archer class. If you've seen Legolas or Hunger Games, then you know what an archer is. They're your standard long-range arrow jobs that shoot things from really far away. You can change jobs to a hunter at job level 40 and then into a sniper. The sad thing is, you don't get a sniper rifle, just a bigger bow. But this class is very powerful with different optional builds. It also includes a companion that follows you around that also deals damage. They have the option to go your typical DPS with either crit or blitz speed, or they have the option to deal insane burst damage with their skills. Snipers are great if you have a bit of knowledge about the game, especially if you're trying to build them in unique ways. Having the knowledge will allow you to effectively build them for any situation, whether it's dungeons or PvP content. But even without those knowledge, playing them is still fun and a great way to be introduced to the game from a different perspective. One thing you do need to be aware of is that they don't really have a great escape mechanism. Their purpose is to try to defeat the enemy before they reach you. So if you like a good challenge and a class that is either all in or all out, then this is the perfect class for you. Now we're getting down to the last two classes. Let's go over the Thief class. Thief is a unique class that has a different mechanic besides your standard MMO classes. They can become assassins at job level 40 and then Assassin Cross. We call them Synex for short, so I'll be addressing them by that name to make it easier for me. Synexes are very straightforward if you're looking at them in a plain DPS build. You can put everything into attack speed and crit and just go ham on your enemies, but Synexes also have unique skills that allows them to be built in non-traditional ways, for example Meteor Assault and Soulbreaker. These skills can be very devastating to your enemies as they can deal insane single target damage or deal great damage to multiple enemies. They also have the unique ability to cloak themselves and move around without being seen. This gives them extra advantages when you need to bypass multiple enemies during castle siege or to catch your enemies by surprise surprise during PvP. They can be caught by certain skills like Sight or Ruwatch, so you have to be careful. But even if you did get caught, you always have a good escape route by using backsliding. If you enjoy classes that involve stealth or being a sneaky rat, then you will love playing this class. Now, the final available class that you can play in the initial release of the game is the Merchant class. Merchants are very unique when it comes to your MMO classes. They use in-game currency to deal damage, craft elemental converters to deal attribute damage, and the ability to sell things at higher prices. At job level 40, you can become a Blacksmith and then into a Whitesmith. Never judge this class by its name because the Whitesmith can become extremely powerful and efficient with the use of their skills like Axe Tornado and their turrets. With the ability to hit multiple targets with Axe Tornado and the freedom to move around while doing so makes them insanely strong. You can also be a menace to society by using Meltdown, which has a percentage to break your target's weapon and armor, causing them to lose the ability to fight back. These different skill sets really allows the Whitesmith to shine and prove that they can become a top-notch class. The only thing I have to say about Whitesmith is that they are very difficult to master, but very efficient and fun if you do. So if you like the challenge and wants to make a character that is high risk and high reward, then this is the perfect class for you. Now that we went over the entire first class that will be available in the initial release, let's quickly go over the secondary classes that will be released throughout the game's update. The order I am going to be reviewing the class is the order that the classes were released during my time of playing the Korean server. Another additional information that can be crucial for players is that you can make a character and never change jobs for it. Meaning once you hit job level 40 for your Swordsman, you can just continue playing as a Swordsman and just wait until the Crusader class is released. The experience points you gain for your job level will carry over when you change jobs, and you'll be able to quickly transcend your character. Or you can just play, and when the class that you like is released, just re-roll it. The option is yours. But let's quickly go over the remaining classes. Swordsman at job level 40 will have the option to change to the Crusader class and then into Paladin. Paladins are what you would call a typical meat shield in any MMO games, but Paladins are considered more than just meat shields. They can deal outstanding damage to the skill Sacrifice or put out insane DPS with Holy Cross. They also have great AoE skills like Grand Cross or an all-powerful single target skill like Pressure. Currently the Sacrifice skill has been nerfed, so they're not really a viable option, but other builds like Holy Cross, Grand Cross, or even Shield Chain can be a much reliable option. Even though the Paladin has great offensive skill set like these, they do serve a bigger purpose, which is to keep all the weaker players alive. Other players are so bad that they rely on the Paladins to give them a second chance in life. Through the use of the skill Devotion, you'll be able to link yourself to one of your party members and receive all or partial damage that they are taking. So if you enjoy being the reason why everyone else is alive and love face tanking any MVPs, then this is a great class and I am proud of you. Next, from the Acolyte class, you will have the option to change to a monk at job level 40 and then into a champion. Like the name suggests, you have the superpower of One Punch Man, as well as the ability to combo like Manny Pacquiao. The skill Azura Strike is pretty much a one-shot skill. It drains all the user's SP in return, dealing insane stupid damage. Champions are very one-trick pony for players who like to cheese, but for knowledgeable players or players that do some in-depth research, they can be a very strong powerhouse class. If you like to have the option to cheese other players but still want to be noticed for great builds and acknowledgements, then this class is great for you. Next, from the Mage line, we have the Sage, which you can become at job level 40 and from there a Professor. Professor was just released not too long ago, so my knowledge on this class is very limited, but they do carry some of the original skill set from the original game. Skills like free casting or double casting is available for the Professor class. From the limited time with them in Ragnarok Origin, they do have a very superior gameplay ability, especially with their AoE skills. If you know how to position yourself and set up the field for your party members, this class is very strong and versatile class. But it does take a lot of knowledge about the game and skills to play this class effectively. So let's move on to the next one, the Dancer and Bard class. Archer has the option to either switch to a Dancer or Bard class depending on the gender that you picked in the beginning. For female archers, you can become a Dancer at job level 40 and then into a Gypsy, and for male archers, you can become a Bard at job level 40 and then into a Clown. These classes are very unique as they use musical instruments and whips as their main source of weapon. They also use songs and dances to put your enemies into different status alignments, and when played together, they can perform overpowering status alignments to stop your enemies from going on the offense or to break through their defense. They also have the ability to give different buffs to your teammates, the ones that you won't get from High Priest, but those buffs also depends on whether you're playing the Bard or Dancer. Playing this class requires knowledge and a good positioning to be effective, but if you have the will to do it, then this class will be very fun to play. Now let's go over the last one. It is the Alchemist. Merchants can go through the Alchemist route at job level 40 and then become Creators. Creators use different potions to inflict damage or to heal. They also use slimy pets to deal damage. There's an official word for it, but I can't really pronounce it, so I'm just calling it slimy pet and you can't change my mind. Creators are considered tank killers because they have a skill that deals additional additional damage depending on how high your target's vid is. This effectively allows them to destroy frontline paladins and lord knights while also having the ability to heal your teammates using Slim Potion. Creators are definitely one of those classes that require good multitasking and being aware of your surroundings, especially if you're using slimy pits as your main source of damage or even trying to find the tanks and trying to one-shot them. They are very fun to play if you know what you're doing and has high potential throughout the entire game. I recommend this class to those who like to be creative with what they can do in different situations. Now the actual real last job that I needed to talk about is the Rogue class, but that is yet to be released in the Korean server. So I will do a separate video on that class when it gets released, as well as the Super Novice class. But as of right now, these are all the classes that is and will be available when you play Ragnarok Origin. I hope this video gave you the information needed to pick the correct class for you. I try to be less biased as possible, but it is my own opinion, so there could be some subliminal messages in there. But if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to show your support by subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button. I don't usually make long videos because I don't have the time for it, but for my viewers, I'm willing to sacrifice some sleep for it. So I would really appreciate all the love I can get. But thank you once again for taking the time out of your day to watch my videos, and I hope you learned from it and that I was able to give you good information. If you have any other questions or concerns, make sure you leave a comment and I'll try to get to you as soon as possible. Please have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.